Astrological Mystery School. Thank you so much for coming back. And today we're going to do Astrology Lesson 10. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so last time we kind of went over the hemispheres in the chart just to sort of get you warmed up to different emphases in the chart. And today I'm going to go over the polarities, and I think that'll help make those hemispheres make a little bit more sense, or they'll keep adding to each other. And but before I jump into that, I just want to mention something that's kind of a difficult concept. So I kind of want to just mention it now, and then you guys can start mulling this over. And as I talk about houses and planets and signs, you can start applying that. So kind of start thinking about this. Okay. So at the end of the last one, I said, our goal for chart interpretation is to get to the point where you'll be able to say, okay, moon in Virgo in the 8th house. What the heck does that mean? Ooh, I don't know. So we're trying to figure out how to combine and separate these three concepts. Because, we've been talking about how, I'll just use good old Aries, Aries 1st house ruled by Mars. All three of those things have a lot of things in common, but yet they do describe different things in your chart. So let's just start first off with houses. Houses always represent the area of your life. Now, some people will say that's kind of like the stage that you're playing on. It's the environment. So, I'm going to go over this even more when I go over the polarities. So just remember, the house is telling you what area of your life. So if you're looking for romance, you go to the 5th house. Like I said, I'll go into more detail on that in a few minutes. Second thing is the sign that's on that house. Now think of that as kind of the how, the genre, the play, the house is the area of life. Now the sign on that is going to give it the flavor of what sort of costumes are the people wearing in this area of your house. What's the emphasis? For example, I'll go back to the 5th house. If you've got Leo on the 5th house cusp, you're going to be looking for drama, fun, excitement, fire, passion, right? If you've got Gemini on that 5th house, it's going to be more intellectual, more airy, more cool, a little bit cooler, not quite so hot, that sort of thing. So that's how those signs on the house, as they change, for everybody's going to be a little bit different, what that means. And then finally, now there's only 10 planets or luminaries, but and they're going to be, so you're going to have a lot of houses that aren't going to have any planets in it. Don't worry, that doesn't mean that you don't have anything going on there. Yes, you do. You still have that house. You still have that sign on that house. And then when we get to it, you'll also have transiting planets going through that house, which will help you understand that. But that's why I want to go through those polarities too, because sometimes if you've got focus, that opposite sign and house, they just kind of pull each other in. So if one is empty and one is full, it's going to kind of balance itself out. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to put that idea, those three different things, the house, the sign, and the planet, and let you start thinking about what that might mean and start pondering that. Okay, so I'm going to put you on pause. I'm going to bring you down. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to leave this little guy here. He kind of showed up last time, but he's kind of cute. I'm going to leave him there. Anyway, okay. So, as we've gone over before, and just to, remember this is more the interior, who you are on the inside and yourself. This is more who you are on the outside. So some people call this the outies and these the innies. And this side over here, it's sort of, you're sort of more self, you've got yourself, yourself is pushing you through. Over here, it's more of the how to get along with others. This one, you're more focused on how you want to just do things on your own. So you'll see this reflected when I go through these polarities. Okay, so as we've said before many times, Aries, first house, seventh house, Libra. This is this can even be your body type, your personality, the way you feel about your body type. Seventh house, this is your marriage partners. And if you've lived with somebody for years and years and years, that's just as good as, I mean, that's, as far as astrology is concerned, you're married, okay, if you've been together that for a very long time. So these are your, you know, your business partnerships, mentors, people you're mentoring. And I think what's kind of interesting, where we have our partnerships, it's also the house of open enemies, strangely enough. Okay, and there's things like that that really popped out at me when I was learning astrology. Second, eighth house, this is Taurus, where you're earning your income. This is your daily income. Scorpio is your partner's money. It's also wills, insurance money, where you get money off of other people, where you're not so much having to work for it. Now, we often call this eighth house sex, death, and other people's money, and we kind of do that with Scorpio too. So don't think of this as a death, that it has to be somebody's losing their life. This could also be that relationship that you have, and after you get done with it, you're like, not doing that ever again. So that part of you has died. So that's kind of what we're talking about there. Now down here we've got, not only is it just daily money, but it's your values or your lack of values when you're dealing with the world. Basically, do you have a good value system? And this is how you give, sexually, romantically, physically. This is how you receive or take, romantically, physically, sexually. So that's the give and receive part. I also want to mention too, Scorpio is your best secret keeper. These are the psychologists of the astrological wheel. So just know, if you've got a Scorpio in your life, that's the person that's going to be able to keep your secrets. Yay, that's a good friend to have. Okay, but as you can see, this is more personal. This is more out there, other. So again, that outy anything. Gemini, Sagittarius, this is intellectual, you know, grade school through 12th grade. This is higher education, you know, college, and even further on, doctorate degrees and that kind of thing. Gemini rules your neighborhood, short trips around town and things like that. This is international travel. You know, this is your car, like I said, getting around town. This is getting on the airplane, driving across country, big things like this. This is, you know, figuring out how you're going to spend your day. This is going to be, you know, your philosophies in life, how you're going to spend your life. So there's a little difference there. And also this is also your siblings too. So you're those people closest to you as you're growing up. Okay, then we've got Cancer and Capricorn, and we've talked about that since it's on this angle. His is home and career. And but we can, and this mother and father. Now some people put mother up here and father down here, some switch it around. So just kind of think about that. Which is it in your family? Was mother on top or mother on the bottom? This is Cancer is like the opinion you have of yourself, this fourth house. So if you are having any problems like with mental health or anything like this is where, if you look to this house, this is where you can be the hardest on yourself. This is your public reputation, Capricorn. This is your own interior reputation, basically, what you think of yourself. Let's let's see, I think that's pretty good. So this is, your attitudes about authority figures. This is just developing security. Both Taurus and Cancer are both security-minded signs and houses. This is more agriculture, food security. This is more personal security. Leo, Aquarius, our 5th house, 11th house. Here, like I was saying, this is where you have your love affairs, romances. Not the same. That's why sometimes when you're having a romance and it's going great, then once you get into this serious relationship, it just falls apart. So they're actually two different parts of the wheel there. Leo is also children, drama, fun, gambling, sports, games, all that kind of stuff. Aquarius would be, now this would be like your neighborhood, playing with the kids in your neighborhood and that kind of thing, or just around town. Aquarius would be more like the NBA players and things like that. Now Aquarius is air, remember, this is fire. So this is a much cooler relationship. So these are this is your best friend. These are your acquaintance, your clubs, your social, just meetup groups, things like that. Now, also, one thing I wanted to point out about Aquarius coming right after Capricorn, this is all your hopes and dreams of where you really want your life to go. What kind of mark do you want to make on the world and that kind of thing. Okay, now moving on to Pisces and Virgo. Those are, at first glance, you might think there can't be any two more opposite signs. Virgo, ruled by Mercury, earth sign, can be a little critical, wants to get into all the details and get everything just right. Pisces, pretty loosey-goosey, big, thinking about spiritual things and getting lost in the ocean and that sort of thing. So Virgo is your, it's kind of a neat freak, healthy, very health conscious, taking all your supplements and all that kind of stuff. Pisces is kind of thinks everything's going to work out one way or the other. But it's interesting, Pisces also rules hospitals and jails, and it's where you get off kind of alone and by yourself. Virgo is also employees, if you ever have employees, or your co-workers, that kind of thing. Oh, the other interesting thing between the polarity here, Virgo rules small animals like cats and dogs, and Pisces is ruling large animals. So when you're watching the YouTubes about, at least I do, the elephant rescues and the large animal rescues, that's the Pisces. And let's see. Oh, and Pisces is also secret enemy. So this is where, maybe if you're getting sabotaged at work or something like that and you don't know where it's coming from, look to this 12th house to see if you can sort that out. Okay. All right. So I think that's a pretty good just whip around the wheel there and getting those opposites. So your homework now is to look, you already kind of looked at where you had a cluster possibly of planets or a quadrant or below or above. Now look for that opposition. Where is how can you maybe jump on that other side? Oops, there's my bell, so it must be the end of class. Because you can kind of, sometimes if you're totally lacking or if one part of your chart is kind of empty, you will actually compensate. Like I knew a person that had only one sign in air, and that was it, no other air. So, but that person was the person that wanted to get straight A's. That was, I think they felt that their intellect was kind of a little bit on the inadequate side, or they were afraid of that, let's say, that they felt like they had to prove it. So keep that in mind as you're doing your interpretations and such. So your homework now is to look at the same things you looked at last time, but now look at those opposites. Now next time we're going to get into even more detail about this idea of, say you've got Jupiter in Pisces, but it's in, the first house. What the heck does that mean? How does that change up things, and how do we interpret that? Okay, so thank you again, everybody, very, very much. Bye. Thank you for coming. And just remember, from here to there, from there to here, funny things are everywhere. Bye.